Okay guys, I'm Sdpk Summerlin and I like to paint fun nerdy things. And welcome back to my Painting Every Pokemon series, where today we're painting the 4th Pokemon of the Pokédex, everybody's favorite starter, Charmander. And as I say that, I want to let you know, I think he's entirely overrated, but we can get on that more. First things first, we're just going to throw a nice little background back into the canvas, just to give us a starting point and figure out what we're doing. I've said before that I like to paint as if I'm making a puzzle, and then after the puzzle's scattered across the canvas, I then can piece everything together and figure out where I'm going. I like to call this paint exploration, which is a term I literally just jacked from Cynics. I've watched him since I was a kid, so I'm really inspired by his kind of stuff, and I practiced a bunch learning from his YouTube videos and stuff like that. So if you want to see more of that kind of thing, he has a whole series like that on his channel. Not like I need to really boost his channel, he's a big channel. Not that I think I could even do that. I got a couple subscribers, which by the way, I love you guys, thanks for subscribing. If you're not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Leave a comment and everything down below. Anyways, we're going to throw this background back in there, and I tried not to spend too much time on the background, but as always, I spent a lot of time on the background. But I actually think that this background is probably the best one I've done yet, because it's not totally green, it's kind of a deserty, sandy kind of transition from a swampy rainforest into a desert kind of landscape. I got a giant rock in the background, which I think I developed pretty well, so I'm happy about this background, and I probably spent the most time out of all the backgrounds on this one so far. Also, as you can see, I tried to change up the sky. I put a different blue in. I'm not sure if it was a cerulean blue. I forget the paint color it was. I'm not looking at the paint tube right now, but I mixed it with my, I believe it was a Palo blue. I get confused, but it's the blue that Bob Ross constantly talks about using, and it's a very nice blue. It's really nice for skies, but I've used that blue for the past few skies I've done, and I use it all the time, and I'm kind of bored of it at this point. So I wanted to change things up, and I decided I was gonna put like a brighter kind of poppier, more neon blue in there, but I killed it down a little bit with the phthalo blue. That's how you say it. So I put that in there, and I think it turned out nice. I think the next painting I'm gonna do, I'm gonna really go crazy with that sky and make it really bright and neon, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, I really wanted to make that sky different from the past one, so I brightened it up a little bit. And while I work on the background, I figured I could lay down some Pokefacts, which is kind of tradition for this series. So let's just get into that. Charmander stands at a height of about 2 feet, and he is a lizard Pokemon. He weighs about 18 pounds with the special ability Blaze. And his Pokédex entry says, it has a preference for hot things. When it rains, steam is said to spout from the tip of its tail. And another Poké entry says, from the time it is born, a flame burns at the tip of its tail. Its life would end if the flame were to go out, which is the more morbid, Pokemon entry. The Pokédex is just full of these crazy, morbid facts about Pokemon and how they interact with people and stuff. But Charmander's one is kind of sad, because I think in the Pokemon anime you can see a Charmander die or almost die because it's raining or something. And so yeah, that's kind of sad. Why would you do that to a Pokemon? But I mean, I can't be too sad for Charmander, because he is probably the most overrated starter in my opinion. Everybody, when we were kids, we always picked Charmander because I don't know if it was because it was the color red, it's fire, or because he basically transforms into a giant dragon at the end of his evolution. And Charizard has just become a second mascot for Pokemon, which is cool, I guess, but he gets so much love when the other starters don't get it. I don't know. Blaziken too, I feel like also gets a lot of love, but not nearly as much as Charizard. So I kind of have this spot where I'm like, I resent Charmander for being so popular. I've actually never picked him in any Pokemon game. It's either, it's either grass or water for me. Like the fire types never held my interest besides Chimchar, and I don't know. I like monkeys. So that's why I picked him. But yeah, why is he so overrated? Just dragon, I guess, and he's not even a dragon type until he mega evolves, I think. Leave your opinion on that in the comments below. I'm sure plenty of you will be like, oh, but he's my favorite Pokemon, and I'm sorry, but he's not mine. It's Mudkip or Venusaur. So anyways, now you can see that I'm painting the silhouettes for Charmander, and this is a really big advice I would give for anybody wanting to paint or draw, is to just go from general shapes, general to specific. It's a very big thing in making art and painting, or even really doing a lot of things. Just start with the big general idea, and then from there you can get to more specific details later on. For me, I go from shapes to more of a silhouette, and from that silhouette I define the silhouettes with more shapes, but this time I add light and shadow, and I kind of try and add color at the same time, but that's just because I'm thinking about so many different things at the same time when I'm doing it. So that's what I do, and I think it works out pretty well. Also, I really tried to give these Pokemon, these Charmanders, a lot more personality, because I feel like that was something that was lacking in the last few paintings. There was certainly personality there for the Ivysaurs, and I feel like the Ivysaurs really had a personality. The Bulbasaurs were just there, you happened to see them, and they had no personality. They were just statues basically. The Ivysaurs, you can kind of see them communicating to each other or something, if you infer that. And maybe the Venusaur was kind of rallying people up or something. But I feel like there was no personality in those. So with these, I made it an issue to try and insert a personality into them. So you can see I have the Charmander all excited with his arms stretched out, he's so happy to see this other Charmander that just hatched. And I kind of tried to give this just hatched Charmander his own personality, where he's kind of derpy, he's got an eggshell on his head, it gives him character, it's cute. And I also gave this other Charmander his own little personality, where he's eating a watermelon, and I couldn't decide what I wanted him to be eating, but I wanted him to be ferociously just chowing down on something. And I decided, well, it probably shouldn't be meat. That's not really family friendly or kid friendly, which is inevitably YouTube friendly. So I decided watermelon, and watermelon kind of ties in with the desert theme, I feel like, because if I'm correct, watermelons also grow in the desert sometimes. I remember reading a book in middle school where they were lost in the desert, and they found watermelons in an oasis. So that's what I was thinking of when I did this. And if I would say to critique myself, the Charmanders really blend in with the background and don't really stand out. And I say this to help myself develop better, to my further paintings to be better than what I've done before. Because I've said before, when critiquing myself, oh, I don't like this and I don't like that. And I feel like as an artist, you should always be critiquing yourself. Don't beat yourself up over things, but be able to point things out and be well, I could have done that better. And trying to do things better in the future. And the key to doing that is finding what you don't like or what you think could have been better. And I think the main thing with this painting is Charmander kind of blends in with the rocks and the sand behind them. So I feel like I could have implemented some more blue, I suppose. because blue is like a complementary color and it kind of would have like brought them out. But I had been working on this painting for about a week and a half at this point, and that's the problem, is I got so burned out almost, I guess. And it's not that I got burned out on painting, it's just I want to see instant results, and I feel like so many people also want to see instant results. So when you're painting or crafting or anything, you have to watch out not to rush your work, because you're going to get results you don't like. And don't get me wrong, I still love this painting, and I think it's my favorite one so far. I think I did a pretty good job. But I want to focus more on the Pokemon themselves next time. So I'm thinking in the next painting I'm going to do, I might have 2 Charmeleons fighting each other, which I think would be pretty sick. Focus more on the painting, more on the Pokemon, my bad. And maybe do like some cool perspective thing, because my perspective with this painting in particular feels very like scripted, where the background, middle ground, and foreground is something you've seen so many times. It's been repeated, and it's kind of cliche for my painting style. I feel like it's what I default to, and I want to break that up. So that's the critique I would give myself for this one. And yeah, I think this brings us to the end of the video, guys. I really appreciate you all for sticking around so long, and the money shots are up next. If you liked the video, please like it and subscribe, comment, let me know everything. Like I said, I try to get videos out every week, but there's no promise on that, but I'm going to continue no matter what. So thanks for watching, guys. I love you, and enjoy the glamour shots and the money shots. Peace out.